Borough Council meeting. Meeting called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Mayor Atkins.
Here.
Connie Gosma.
Here.
Dan Anuska.
Here.
Peter Quinn. Here. Al Triani. Here. Ken Williams.
Here.
Jeannie Huff.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next, we're going to look at the approval of minutes for September 12th, 2019. I did read over it. There are a few typos there that we need to look at.
And I saw a couple things that I have questions on. Can we hold off until I have time to look at that? Do we have to approve that tonight?
Meeting minutes?
The minutes from last meeting?
Don't have to, but
You don't have to.
you can do it next month.
Can we do that?
Make sure you don't lose track of it. Make it so. Yeah. We have to eventually have a full set of minutes for the audit.
Right,
so.
right.
Mayor Atkins, first tonight.
I have a couple things. On a few of our vehicles back there, I'd say two of them, the lights are burned out on them. You know, your red and blue flashings or whatever, they're burned out on them, and we're gonna need to get those replaced. I have a quote here. Comes to around 1,500.
I'm sorry.
About around 1,500 to replace the lights. And it's from Tech where we got where we get them, you know, always get our lights at. And we need your approval to go ahead and order those. I'll send this quote down, you can all take a look at it. If you want to wait till after the end of the meeting and after you do that, we can go into that again.
And what is this for?
These are for the lights on the cars that are burned out and you can't replace them with bulbs. You got to get a new light.
So we're getting light bars for the top.
And how many of them? 1, 2, 3, 4? Or 3? 3 in the brackets.
3 in the brackets.
Yeah.
And also, we confiscated a car on a drug deal, and I was talking to the solicitor about maybe we want to sell it and get some money for it. So he's going to guide me on that and how we need to do that.
Okay. We know what kind of car it is? Okay.
Little Ford or something, I don't know.
Okay, if need be,
Wait, it's a Hyundai. Here it is, 2002 Hyundai. I think the book value is anywhere from 13 to 2,700. So, the solicitor will guide us on how we need to do that to get some money for it.
Mayor, we got two bills here?
Just one.
Second one?
Yeah, I think it's first, the second one's 15, the top one's 19. So I go with the 19. There was one added to
Are
it.
they both the same?
Yeah, pretty much.
Lights.
He'll give you a more detailed report though on them, but I don't think we need them all. That's my opinion. I think maybe 1 or 2 more, because there is some on it, but when the last chief ordered them, it was like all kind of lights on it. So we still have some on them, so I'm gonna talk to chief and see if we can just narrow it down to maybe 1 or 2 more instead of 3 or 4. And then I'll get back to you if that's okay. But he just gave me that, so. Someone stopped me, Mr. Wright. He wants to pour a concrete slab in front of the library in honor of John Shepherd, because John always wanted to put a bike rack there when he was living, and he passed and never got to do it, and Rick would like to pick that up if he can. I don't know how much we have to do with that, because the school really owns the library. He thought maybe does he have to have a permit for that slab of concrete, but
What-
I don't know.
What are we talking, what's he talking, a slab?
Yeah, just to put like 4 bikes, their front tires on, you know how you put a bike rack and then you put your bikes in? So it would be real big. He didn't have the dimensions.
Well, you want to do a concrete bike rack?
Yeah, well, you have to put some concrete on to put the bike rack on and then your bikes. So he said to bring it to council, but I think the school has more say-so than we do. If we need a permit, then I'll just tell him we need a permit, but I think he has to have their approval to do that. But he wanted me to bring that up. The guys that do Shell, they do the patrolling down there, the flagging and all that. And Jeannie, maybe you can answer this. There's a lot of dust kicking up and they can't see when they're directing traffic. They asked Tom on the DPW to sweep it maybe once a week or twice a week, and he said that he was told by one of the council people not to do it. So, I don't know, I'll bring it up, but they're asking if we can sweep that once or twice a week, whatever's convenient for you, so that that dust, they can't see the dust, you know, the dust is in the way of these cars.
Is this
but they're
down on
flying
12th
out of
Street?
it. Yeah, right at the subway, when Shell comes out.
Isn't that scheduled?
Pardon me?
Isn't that on a scheduled weekly sweep?
No.
I thought it was.
I thought it was-
I
That's
thought it
where,
was on once a week.
I thought every
yeah,
street was.
that's what I
On Main
thought.
Street once a week.
Because that's where the,
Well,
someone
this is
said that
from
they
the
need to
subway
make
back one, all the way to the alley there, that
You're not
street.
talking about Main Street.
Not
Oh,
Main.
You're talking
From
about
subway
12th
back, where
Street.
your traffic's coming from that parking lot in the back. And there's just that one block we own from the main street to the alley. And want to know if they could sweep that once a week or twice so that that dirt doesn't.
He
kick
does
up.
turn at Subway and come back up the alleyway.
Well, they haven't done it for a long time, so
Okay.
he asked Tom, and Tom said, one of the councilmen said not to do it. So I don't know what that's about, but Jeannie, would you take care of that?
Yes, I
So,
will.
To get that, thank you. Champion Concrete. Me and the chief went to them because there was a problem for years now where they put that playground up there by the swimming pool. None of the kids can use it, it's on the main highway, they can't get up there, little kids walk by themselves or in the woods. So the school and the borough, I think, it might have been how many years ago? I don't even remember. Asked if maybe we could get that down here, because it should have been here, because we had sold the football field to the school to develop that as a recreational place. When Ms. Kemp was here and the other council, they got a grant for the playground. Emily, you were there with all that too. We've been doing this for how long, trying to move that thing. So Champion is gonna be pulling out here in a couple months. Their work is done back here. So I asked them in good faith if they can help us move that playground, being their concrete, and they have to re-concrete that when you put it. Well, I asked Dave Vukovich, the board, to take it to Mr. Tanner to see where he wants it put, so we can work together, get it moved. And Mr. Tanner, Dave Vukovich told me today that Mr. Tanner said that at this point in time, they're not ready for it. So, whatever, Champion's gonna be moving, so I said I just wanted to know the guy to let them know that we can move this, but he said he's not ready for it because there's some things and stuff that he has to do, and at this point in time, they can't do it.
Is it possible we can go back to them and maybe ask them for 2 backboards for 4th Street Playground?
Ask who?
Yeah,
I don't know. They were doing cement work. I don't
I
know.
understand.
I don't know if they'll give you the boards. They weren't giving us anything. They were just moving.
They're gonna move it
Cement.
for us.
But I mean, I can ask. Don't hurt to ask.
You really need to get those up there.
Huh?
You really need to
Yeah.
get those up there.
All right, well, pretty much that's all I got.
Thank you, ma'am. I am going to talk a little bit about the Water Authority again. We have heard back from them. They are doubling down on us moving DPW out of the garages, which we are looking for space to move them to. Throughout all of this discussion of the Water Authority Board and what's been going on, and the last meeting we had where we had a wonderful speech given by one of the board persons from the Water Authority, a lot of that's gone by the wayside. Basically, they're going to do a forensic audit with their chosen auditor. I don't know that we can trust that. Bottom line for me here is, and I want everybody to understand this on the board as well, the people on the Water Authority Board were put there by the Borough Council to run the authority. What has happened over the years is the board does not run the authority. Consulting firm runs the authority with direction from behind. Anybody that's been in this town long enough understands what I'm saying. I have a resolution on the floor right now to dissolve the Water Authority. I'm asking for a motion.
I motion.
Wait a minute, time out.
Please hold up.
Sorry, I just noticed here on the agenda, we were missing the public comment section. I want to make sure that the public gets the opportunity to comment on this before a vote is taken.
Okay.
So if the public has anything, if not, you can feel free to proceed. And preferably, I'd rather them,
Mayor?
I would say that should be public comment time on anything. It should have been done
Gotcha.
before, but no vote's been taken. So if you have any comments on anything, please let me know. I apologize that this didn't get on the agenda.
What is it's off the agenda.
Sorry, I just want to make sure that proper procedure is being followed here.
Thank you, Solicitor.
So
Thank you
there's
very
no
much.
questions to the validity of any votes
If you want to
taken.
speak, what's your name on?
Yeah, see, you're jumping the gun here. Not you.
I think it's yours.
Okay, we have Mr. Rinelli.
I just have one thing to say. At the last council meeting, Mr. Adams was up here and he made a speech about everybody getting together and that. Then he talked about a forensic auditor. When he said that, I told him I would vote yes. But I want this council to know, and these people to know, I only would vote yes under one condition. And that is if you pick the auditor. I just want that on record because I don't want that other thing on record, you know what I mean? So I just want to explain myself. Okay?
Thank you.
That's all I want to say.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Rinelli. One other thing I do want to say before we,
There's a name on.
Janice Haney?
Should, way at the bottom.
Why did you put yourself at the bottom? I didn't see
You
you.
wanted to talk loud.
Go ahead,
The
Janice, I'm
last
sorry.
shall be first. Well, I have two things now. When you want to dissolve the water authority, who do you want to replace them with? Townspeople or a company come in and run it?
No, it would run the same, pending trying to get out of the management's,
The borough would take over.
Borough would take
Any authority is dissolved, it simply reverts back to the borough. So oversight of the property, the operations, the employees over there would be vested in the council rather than the authority board. They're removing the organizational structure and bringing it sort of in-house, in a sense. Right, as of this time, right now. So,
For what period of time?
that is a decision, I'm just explaining the legal procedure here, but anything future would be decided by the elected officials.
So you would decide how long you want to run it until you find
correct,
who?
till we determine if we need to reincorporate, put a new board in, that would come down the road. At this point,
I can't hear.
You gotta speak up.
We're old back here. What?
move up. We would determine that down the road, yes. They would have to answer to the council at this point to try to get things moving in a direction that is beneficial for all people of Midland. Okay, and that's what we would hone in on at first. Again, DCED, the consultant we picked has a person on their board that is very well known for her water and sewage capabilities. She's done this before. We're going to rely heavily on them when they come in to guide us as well, because we don't know what it entails, but we will be getting a lot of guidance from them. Okay.
My fear is if you go and get a company to come in and run it, then our
We
rates are gonna
had
skyrocket.
American Water come in and they had a discussion with us, but I think at this point, most of us on the board here don't really want that to happen. I'm speaking for myself. I looked at it and I thought it might be a good deal, but I think we need to keep it. It's one of the gold mines we have left here in Midland, and it needs to serve the people. So it's I think we have to retain it and get it run properly for the benefit of all of Midland. I do have one other thing here. I have a corporate records from when it was incorporated, 1949.
You done? Question? Did you have any more questions?
Not on water, I do
Okay,
have another
okay.
one now.
No
I'm sorry, go
I'm
ahead.
not done, no, we can finish with water and then I'll move
Okay.
on.
Their mission statement is that the adoption of the ordinance is deemed necessary for the benefit and preservation of the public health, peace, comfort, and general welfare, and will increase the prosperity of the people of the Borough of Midland. Okay. I'm going to read that last statement again. It will increase the prosperity of the people of the Borough of Midland. That means all people of Midland.
You have a motion on the floor?
I have a comment before we go on. Last time I also stated, for the record, we talked about negotiations with the Water Authority in the borough. It has only been, what, 30 days since that has happened. I do not know if they are getting a forensic, but negotiations take time. We, and I stated it before, we as a town cannot make a mistake. We need to have all our ducks in a row. I said crossing T's, dotting I's. If this is how negotiation, we have not given it time. That's for the record.
For my part of the record, I do need to tell you, Dan, that they have not shown where they want to come to the table. They do not want to negotiate. They want to continue running things just as they have. And it's not fair to the people of this town when you cannot tell me what you did with the money from ATI and why our plants are not upgraded. What happened to the money? Where'd it go? And why are our plants now needing upgraded?
Understood. And we also
Okay.
asked for the right to know. We got all their records.
We did.
No,
actually, we didn't.
Well, that's for the
most
investigation
of that.
part of it to go through and check, not to
Yes.
jump the gun. So I just wanted that on my record for.
In that investigation of those records, I found some discrepancies. One of the ones was between 2016's audit and 2017's audit. The numbers on 2016's audit on certain pages were reflected. 2017's audit, the same figures for 2016, they show 16 and 17, 15 and 16. The same numbers are different on 17's audit for 16 than they are on 16's audit. I don't know how that happens. If you're hiring a professional auditor, they would never, ever make that mistake.
I can't answer that.
So I don't know where that came from, but I do know that historically, it's just not in good management. things are not running properly for the benefit of all of Midland. And that's where I'm at. I fear that we really can't wait any longer. I really feel that in the back and forth that we've had with them, again, we have to move out of a garage that we built because it's on their property.
Understand?
There's no will.
Yeah, but you brought up about the garage. I want the public to know, we're here voting on what you're calling a resolution.
Correct.
And now, we gotta do it for the benefit of our community.
That's correct.
Not because of any personal dislikes for anybody
I have
in
no
other
personal
parts.
dislikes.
Well, because they're moving us out of the garage, if
That
that's their
doesn't matter.
garage, we have to look at other things, you just brought it up. So we need to do this for the community and understand, I don't feel the investigation, I don't feel that anything was negotiated or looked into long enough, and I'll rest at that.
Okay.
I'd like to make a comment on that issue. In my opinion, the authority has shown a lack of good faith in that when we started looking into this whole issue of whether or not it's being run right and whether or not they're benefiting the community, they responded with a request for information on us when we requested their books, their bank records, etc. Now, I received an email from Albert with regard to the generator. The EPA requires them to now get a generator to supply emergency power should the power go out so that we would still have water supply. They've got that coming in October, and they told us that they want to put that in the garage where all our public works vehicles are located. The roof of that garage is 12 feet high, the ceiling inside. The equipment that they're trying to locate there is 14 feet high because it needs to be on a vehicle. Even if you let the tires out, it's not going to give you 2 feet. So I don't know what they're thinking, making us leave the garage that we built on their property. But according to the solicitor, Mr. Hallisey, if I've got this correct, you could verify it, we have the authority to assume ownership of that garage, that property under the garage. Is that correct?
Yes, if you were to dissolve the authority or ask for, or take the projects and property back over, then yes, that would revert to the borough's possession.
Right, so we wouldn't have to dissolve the authority to take control of the garage, to assume that property. Is that correct?
I'm not sure if you can take things piecemeal like that.
It was my understanding that any of their properties that we could assume ownership of.
As I sit here, Peter, I can't give you a definitive answer, and I apologize for that.
Okay.
But
Well, no,
I can answer that question for you at some point. I mean, probably not tonight.
Well, what got me, what that boils down to is a lack of good faith. They're bringing in a 14-foot piece of equipment to put in a 12-foot building, and they're evicting us. I would just, I would solve the problem by telling them to get a 14-foot pole barn and put it somewhere else instead of making the borough assume this burden of moving our entire department. So to me, that shows a lack of good faith, and that was in response to this whole inquiry as to whether or not they were running things properly. So I'm not inclined to accede to their wish that we evacuate that garage. My analysis would end there. I would just take the garage and keep our equipment there, and to try to get them to make some other accommodation for the generator coming in.
That was offered by one of their board members at the last meeting.
What was?
They were going to relocate it down at the intake plant that they just put in.
No, they needed to be able to take it down there.
But one of their board members also at that last meeting did say that we can put it down there. And
On the table.
again, not in good faith.
It's not on the table. All right.
That motion on the floor.
Yeah, what was the motion? Who made the
So
motion?
we now have a resolution on the floor.
Who made it?
I second it. I will second.
No, you have to.
I will
Make a
motion
motion.
Motion
to accept the resolution.
Is there a second?
She made
Okay,
a
so,
motion.
Connie, did you make them? You made
I
it?
thought
Albert can't make a
He
motion.
can't.
Albert can't make the motion, so
Why
I,
can't you make a motion?
well, that's.
Before they said last solicitor, presidents weren't allowed to make motions. It's
Let's
up to
see.
you. Is he allowed? If he's allowed, then he can make it. You're
Why
allowed.
you couldn't make, oh, you're
Let's
part
see,
of the
that's
coun-
what I
you're part of the
was-
council, and you have the power to make motions and
I second.
vote on, there you go.
So I made the motion and Albert seconded.
Very well. Roll call vote. Drazaba,
Yes.
Anuska,
No.
Quinn votes. I will abstain. Troyani,
Yes.
Williams,
No.
Hubb.
No.
Motion is defeated.
Next on the agenda. Let's go.
You have for us tonight?
Oh, no, there's no report from the vice president.
Committee reports, I'm just going to, real quickly, do we have any committee reports from any of the committees?
I have one under police. I'd like a motion to not extend employee 123 with the Midland Police Department past his probationary period. I don't know if we have to say any more than that.
That's fine.
I'll second. Oh, were you making that motion?
I made the motion, yes. And Peter, you seconded?
Roll call. Drazaba,
Yes.
Anuska,
I need to abstain from the vote. USW is part of my Labor Council delegate. I'm vice president of for Beaver and Lawrence County, and it would be a conflict of interest.
Quinn will vote yes. Troyani,
Yes.
Williams,
Abstain.
Hubb,
Motion carries.
motion carries.
Pete, if I'm not mistaken, abstentions do not count in the positive, they count in the negative. There would not be a majority.
I don't agree with you, Dan, I'm sorry. I think it's a, my understanding is that an abstention only counts for a quorum.
Okay,
The remaining member, there would be 4 remaining members who create a majority vote.
The ordinance is not passed by state law. Applicable requires the affirmation vote of the majority of the whole membership of the council to pass the ordinance. The minimum number of yes votes would be required before.
What are you reading that from, Dan?
Friend of mine that practices law, I went.
I mean, they're talking about an ordinance, so this isn't an ordinance, but I can tell you if I'm wrong, I will
Please
correct
check
it.
it.
I will correct it at a later meeting.
Okay, please check it out.
All right, moving on.
The other thing we have is, just want to announce that we did a planting of trees in the park, shoveling park, and at the swimming pool. We got all the trees from Duquesne Lake planted, and some of the bushes as well. Okay. Anybody have anything else on committees?
Yes, planning has a report. It's not on the agenda, but
Yeah, it's right next, it's right there. It's Roman numeral.
why isn't it under committees? All right.
It's-
The agenda's out. We had a meeting last night. Valmont came in, they were the only ones to have an issue. They wanted to put in a lateral line sewer to the main under Railroad, which would require their use of our right-of-way, which is occupied by Wemco. The parking lot and their fence are currently in our right-of-way. we recommend allowing them to put in that sewer line. So we're going to contact Wemco and let them know that we want them to allow Valmont to put that sewer line in. They currently don't use most of their parking lot, so it shouldn't be a burden on them.
So we're just waiting basically on where Wemco back?
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's all.
Any more updates on that? Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Janice, we gotta get back to your next question.
Somebody forgets about you. I did.
No?
Just like last month, I want to know what's going on with the secretary. What have you done to get somebody in? Did you hire somebody?
We will be discussing that in a little bit.
Thank you. Just want to mention, the council met this evening between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. to discuss personnel issues related to employee discipline. In addition, they discussed some strategy related to collective bargaining agreements and also received legal advice from the solicitor. The only item I asked tonight for a vote is to approve a revised facility use form that I prepared for the borough related to Shelburne Park. It was just updating some language from the existing form, putting in some additional legal protections. Doesn't change any fees or anything like that. Fees are the same, just putting in some little legal language. The borough secretary asked me to update it. That's all.
We're on to the engineering report.
We need to make a motion on that tonight, Pete?
No, you can,
You just adopt that form?
if you want to table it to the next meeting, that's fine.
Okay. Emily, engineer, you're up.
Okay, first page, I don't want to report, I don't have anything specific to report on that. You can read that at your leisure. On the second page, the first item would be the municipal waste contract. You authorized me to prepare those contract documents last meeting because your waste hauling contract with Valley ends at the end of February coming up. I pulled your prior contract and just a quick summary of what that contract was to give you an idea. My intent would be to prepare the next contract document the same unless you would like to see some changes. We bid 3 different options, a 1-year, a 3-year, and a 5-year contract. You're obviously, the 5-year contract was awarded last time. That included weekly unlimited garbage collection, including bulky items, yard waste, but not leaves. It included 2 dumpsters, one for this building, one for the borough garage, and it also asked for supplemental prices for a senior citizen discount rate, and instead of unlimited garbage, they could have 2 bags, but have a discounted rate. I would intend to bid out those options again, unless you want to do something different. And I don't need a decision from you, I'm just telling you that we've got a little bit of time to think about that. As Pete mentioned, Valmont was in last night at the Planning Commission meeting. The Planning Commission did recommend approval to this board of their land development plan. I was trying to explain the sewer issue to Pete. You guys didn't take a vote on that, but I think Valmont is anticipating action by the board this evening as well. On
This is the first time you're.
action on the land development plan.
Okay, I have trouble advising.
The blue paper.
The sewage issue would be a conditional issue, it wouldn't necessarily be something.
Okay, so this is
If,
something that can be addressed.
if they can't do that, they have a plan B, they're gonna put in a holding tank and pump and haul the sewage. So that's not necessarily something that has to be decided tonight, they've just asked for our assistance on that, but they're asking for approval of their, action, your decision whether to approve or not, on their land development plan.
Let's go back to the planning commission. You guys looked at that?
Yeah,
They're, and
yeah, we recommend that their
Recommend?
plan be pursued, yes.
you're, okay.
And that was unanimous.
And the plan is, I mean, it's an as you're well aware, it's an existing building, they're just proposing 3 additions to various portions of the building, so they just need to get your approval of that.
So we need action on,
To approve the land development plan.
I move
Of
that
Valmont.
we approve the land development plan for Valmont as proposed.
Second.
Drazaba,
Yes.
Manuska,
Yes.
Quinn votes yes. Triani,
yes,
Williams?
Yes.
And Huck.
Yes.
Very good, unanimous.
And one final item, which I'm not sure why on earth I left it off of my report, but I sent you all an email about the PA Small Water and Sewer Grant Program that opened up in the middle of September. Applications are due mid-December. Again, we have, let me double check the calendar. Applications are due December 13th. So that would be the day after your December meeting. Unless you want me to drive to Harrisburg, we would have to have this, you would have to take action in November. So if you wanted to submit an application, obviously starting with the last application and resubmitting that would be my suggestion. We asked for $225,000 for sewer repairs. That would require a local match of about $40,000. It's a 15% match. So obviously this is a good starting point. You can have a project up to $500,000 actually, and I could easily come up with $500,000 of sewer repairs.
Well, I mean, I did respond back to you on that, but.
And I don't, I'm sorry, I don't understand the 10% in your agreement with
Well, with-
DCED, so.
DCED, one of the things by going with them, one of the things that they explained to us, and they'll explain to us more, is these grants that we apply for. I don't know if it's with George or the company, whatever.
it may
but
or may not.
It may or may not, I don't know. But this is one of their grants, right, correct?
This is through the Commonwealth Financing Authority, but DCD is like the administrative
So
arm
one of
for
the
this
things that they
agency.
explained to us is where these grants have 10 or 15, 25, 50%, because of our status, that we can bring it down to 10%.
That's-
We would have to
that's
apply
great.
for it, of course.
Sure.
And if it's a DCED loan or grant, I would think that that would apply. I'm not sure because, of course, George isn't in yet. But I would like to go to the next step with this grant. We're gonna need it.
Absolutely.
And, because we're not gonna get help with anything else for the roads or the source,
Structure.
the infrastructure. So I would like to go myself, I'm asking the board, to go for the $500, at least look at that right now until DCED comes in and we can look at them, talk to them even more. But I think we should go up to the 500,000 and then,
Right, I move that we resubmit the grant application.
right, but asking for 500,000 as opposed to 225.
Yeah.
That's
Do
right,
we have a
that's my opinion, and I stressed that to her in the email.
Do we have a second?
Second.
What's your opinion on it?
On going, let me tell you the history. This is actually the third round for this program. The first round, you guys did actually submit a $500,000 project. My analysis of the results of that were that they were not funding the full $500,000. They were going towards the smaller projects, and they were also funding the east side of the state pretty heavily, in my observation. So on the second round, we just kind of backed down and thought maybe making a smaller scope would help you get the funding. It didn't. And I did notice there were some more larger size awards in the second round. It's a toss-up, it really is, to be honest with you. And I don't think it would really hurt, because the way that we break this down, it's this repair here, this repair here, this repair here. If they only wanted to give you $200,000, you could easily see that you could take $200,000 out of the scope. And if over the next month you decide you don't want to submit the full $500,000, I still don't think it hurts to get those items scoped out, and as you get money, as you get grants, just sort of knock off items from your master list. So I think it's probably a good idea to go back to the $500,000 at this point.
Well,
You're going to have to write a commitment letter, or have DCED write something as far as how that 15% match is going to come up.
We'll find, once George comes in, we'll have to find out. Yeah, because we can't even ask that question yet until he's put into place.
Okay, so I think that's honestly from your specific situation, that would be probably the downside, is the more you ask for, the more you're gonna have to match. And you're gonna have
Correct.
to commit to that, at least in writing.
And that has been the problem for the last 3
Yes,
years.
absolutely, right.
By asking for the 500, will that
Yeah.
throw us out, or will they look at the application, look at what we've got?
We have received partial awards of the applications
They're
that
just
we
not
have
gonna take the
submitted.
applications.
I don't think it will.
Gold and whatever we get.
And it's,
whatever
again,
we
I
take.
mean, you understand, it's very political, honestly, it's got a lot of that going on as well, so.
Very good. There's a motion on the floor that we resubmit the grant application for $500,000.
I'll second that.
Williams,
You
seconded.
did? Okay.
Yes, we're gonna vote. Drozba,
Yes.
Onuska,
Yes.
Quinn votes yes. Troyani,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Hupp.
Yes.
All right, unanimous. Thank you. Motion carries.
Okay, that's all I have, thank you.
Emily, would I be able to get, I'm not getting your email, for some reason my email isn't working for anybody, but
Okay.
if you can get that to me, I'll be going back to Harrisburg next weekend, the week after. And
Sure.
I could definitely talk to
Okay.
legislators up there and try to even get this pushed forward for our town.
Okay, that'd be great if you could talk to
Yeah, I'm up there.
them. We have gotten letters from Jackie Jarvis in Marshall's office in the past. I understand she's
She does not work there any longer.
not available, so I'm
That's
not
correct.
sure. I'll contact, would it be Marshall that you would be speaking with?
Well, I was going to speak with Representative Marshall, but I
Okay.
would also be speaking, there's other representatives and the senator also.
Okay,
And we're meeting with all of them. and It
okay,
would be a good point of trying to get the help for our town.
okay. Okay, I'll get you that information, yep,
Okay?
okay.
Had a rough night yesterday. Okay, we've got, we do have a police report in your packet. With that is an officer application. What I got from the chief, we are running out of bodies for detail work. And with the basketball coming up, that's an additional detail. We got a patrolman from a neighboring town that is put in for a part-time position.
And also, I'd like to add that he also is one of Midland's backups in case of an emergency. So he's familiar with the town and the people and the police officers.
Is that the only application we got?
That was the only one that I was given.
That
That I
is
know
for
about.
part-time?
It's part-time.
Yeah. So do we need a motion on the floor? Or did you do the motion?
We have a
Are
motion
we
on
as
this?
a committee for the police, not going to interview him or whatever? I know nothing. But I was just
I-
looking at this
I
today.
am-
I have no.
I was contacted by the chief of police, and he asked me if I wanted to conduct, or the committee would, myself or the committee would like to conduct. And I told him that I would take his, I mean, this gentleman is our backup. This gentleman is an assistant chief of police in our neighboring community. I didn't think, and I got the recommendation from our chief, I didn't think it needed to go any further. That's my opinion, and I'm gonna stick with it. He's a nice kid. We need help, that's it. And there's no other applications right now that I know of. So, and we need the help, so. So that is my recommendation.
So Gene, as personnel chair, you'd rather table this and examine it and then get back?
That's what I would want to do, but
I would like to
What
also,
what committees that fall under? Personnel or police?
probably police.
Well, then that's her.
And that's, all I can say is, I received a phone call from the chief asking me for my opinion, and I gave him my opinion. And I feel that he is competent enough to recommend this person for a part-time job. I mean, to take his recommendation.
Pete, I would like to have clarity on the issue we talked about earlier before we would give a vote on this one, and I do agree with interviewing if we.
So
council agrees.
I was looking here at I was reviewing a document called the PA Municipal Legislator's Desk Book. So if you'll permit me to digress a little bit here. Under the Borough Code, the language is a majority of the council present and able to vote, okay? That is interpreted as absent any sort of other language in a statute that requires a majority of the entire body, which there are certain, for example, the school code requires for certain votes on certain subjects requires a vote of the full board of 9 people. So you have to have 5 people voting yes. You can't have 7 people at a meeting, a 4-3 vote and pass something. Unless there's something in statute, which I don't see in these cases, an abstention simply means it reduces the majority required to pass a vote. So when you, Dan, and you can abstained on that last measure, it required a majority of 4 people. So 3 to 1, 3 is the majority for 3 and 3-1. So I stand by my analysis from last time.
So essentially, you don't count the abstentions, you just.
They count for a quorum, so you're able to vote on it, but no, you would not count them as they simply are not counted towards the total necessary to pass the measure.
Right.
So
Yeah, do you know this guy?
No, no.
the person you spoke to, Dan, may be seeing something that
Right.
requires.
Well, it was just, it would not count towards the yes, it counts towards the no. It would be, actually it would be a tie, because there would not be a majority, it'd be a 3-3.
And I would say I would understand that if there was a statute saying that you needed a full, you know, if there was something that says you needed a majority of council,
Okay.
so if you needed 4 votes, then I can understand that, because you would need 4 affirmative votes. Absent that sort of language, it's just whoever's able to vote on this. So if 3 of you had abstained, 2 would be the majority of 3. So I think that is correct. So I think that motion before it passed, and I'm not sure the breakdown is about to happen here.
Okay, I'm going to have to take your, your advice on that, even though I am going to object to it, and I'm going to look into it more myself too. Also, if you would please look into it more also to make sure that we are aligned. I just don't want, and I said this to the town before, I always want to make sure we do not make mistakes. Period. We gotta be good to our town.
Be happy to look into it
So
further.
please look into it.
Okay, next is Public Works.
Former Miller's not here.
Well,
Do you have
wait,
anything
let's go back up, Albert. Do you want to set up a meeting, Jeannie, with this new guy?
Yeah, I would like to.
Okay,
I just got handed this tonight, really haven't had a chance to
Okay,
look at it.
that's fine. Give me a date that you guys want to meet with him, so I can let him know.
I have fire watch the next three nights,
Well,
so.
we've got to get something in
Right.
the morning or whatever.
Let's try to get that sooner rather than later. yeah.
We'll make.
I can pick a day for next week.
Okay, somewhere in the morning. just
Yep,
give us-
yep.
Yes, if you want to meet too.
Okay.
Please.
So we'll table, whether or not to hire.
Good. Do you have anything for DPW, want to report, or?
We're gonna talk about meeting someone, that we got a resignation from Dan Salas on the DPW, and that puts us one more down. There's 2 part-timers and one that's not really, I mean, 2 full-times and one that's not really, he works so many hours. So we're really down now on the DPW, and we're gonna have to hire someone on the DPW, especially with everything that's coming up and what will have to be, and the move and everything. So I think we should decide how we want to, or the hours, or what, and get something maybe put in the paper, or
They have to be CDL, right?
we have 2 CDLs, so.
Can that wait till next month? I mean, you get together a package of what you want to offer and so on and so on. So we know what motion to make.
I would prefer that we make a motion on it, because next month we could have stuff.
Yes, I agree with that.
So my contention is to replace Van, a part-timer at this point, until
A part-timer?
A part-timer until DCD gets in here and guides us on what we can.
Because
what
we might
can-
get someone that has worked for that, or knows a lot about the equipment
Correct.
that we already have, and that's what we're kind of looking for.
Now, we are gonna need to put that, advertise that in the paper, is that correct?
Pardon me?
Part-time.
A part-timer. There's no legal requirement to do so. It's your own protocol. If you have a candidate in mind, you can propose one and vote one right now. But if you wish to advertise for it, you certainly can do that.
So let's work on that, try to get that up and running here. If we find a candidate that you guys want to talk to or look at personnel-wise, let's go ahead and set up a meeting,
Okay.
talk to them, come back. We can always do a straw vote and ratify it next meeting, because we're at the point now where the weather's going to start turning. Okay.
So we're gonna table that issue, or we're not gonna have a motion on whether to hire anybody?
We're going to look for candidates, right?
Yes.
Correct.
We need a motion to
Hire a part-time.
hire a part-time.
Motion to hire a part-timer
A second.
for the DPW.
Thank you. Drazabob,
Yes.
Ruska,
Yes.
Quinn votes yes, Troyani,
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Hub?
Yes.
Unanimous. Thank you. Motion carries.
Nothing from Chief Petrie? Do you have anything that the fire department need to say or anything like that?
No, it's just that we get moved out there, if we move some of our stuff over there that was talked about into there, then we're still gonna have to find room for 2 fire trucks that cannot be out.
Right.
There's no way we can
We're gonna have to meet
respond to
shortly
a
on that.
fire with frozen hoses.
Because we've got, we're looking at 2 buildings and one just fell through, so we're gonna have to look for space.
Yes,
at
he
this
doesn't
point.
want to.
We gotta work on that, so we'll have to have a meeting with
If
the
I
guys.
could get a.
See if we can work with something we can work with together, okay?
Call him if you want.
I don't have a number, I've been trying, I got his father's address, but I've
He
been
doesn't want
trying.
to rent it because he has all his equipment in there, and they have an antique car that him and his brother are working on, and he does not want to take any of that out.
I do have a tax collector report here that I'd like to move on to. Total cash collected for the month of September, $19,790.92. Joe Monaco.
Are we gonna go back to Janice's question about the secretary and what we're doing up here?
Yeah, that's
Well,
is
later
that-
on.
that-
It's at the box.
Is it? Okay, thank you.
Yep. Next on the agenda is replacement for Michael Noto. He had 4 letters of interest.
Really?
Elena Galzarano, Donald Cheka, Sam Rosatone, and Anthony Bayudi. Okay. We'd like to open up for any nominations. Other than those 4, please.
You don't have to do that.
No?
You don't have to, you can.
Okay, we did.
Well, at the last meeting, nobody even mentioned that you were gonna fill that. So how did you get letters?
No, it
Get
was
interest.
mentioned.
It
We have
was
30
mentioned in the last
days.
meeting.
It was mentioned. When we
Were
accepted,
you here?
yeah, when we accepted Mike Noto's
Resignation.
resignation, it was told then. We have 30 days to fill that seat, or it goes to the vacancy board. Yeah, it was sent.
No, I don't remember.
We have 30 days. After that, it goes to the vacancy board. And after that, it goes to county court.
So people out here never got a chance to say, hey, I'd like to be on there. But you know, that's fair.
Okay, so what would, we have to make a decision. You've got 2 days left to fill the seat.
Yeah, let's decide tonight.
Thank you.
It's just that
Open.
nobody got noticed that they have an opportunity to fill the seat.
Well, somebody did because
Well, they
we
know
got
now.
4 letters. I'd like to open up nominations to fill the seat left vacant by Michael Noto.
I would like to nominate Sam Rosatone.
So,
I second.
so these are done by resolution. So that is a motion to appoint Mr. Rosatone and a second. So now the appropriate thing to do is to have a roll call vote. If there is a tie, 4 votes wins, tie goes to the mayor. If we have the abstention, same thing. So it's a resolution on the floor.
Gazabah,
No.
Manuska,
Yes.
Quinn votes yes. Troyani,
No.
Williams,
Yes.
Up,
Yes.
motion carries. Mr. Rosatone is appointed.
Can I call?
Next, we have been dealing with these electricity and gas rates for the last 6 months. Looking. Boroughs Association, through the Boroughs Association, APPI Energy, we've gotten their information prior to this. Back there, it was in the last meeting's minutes. Our current price for electricity is 6.49 cents per kilowatt hour. Their recommendation is 4.78 cents per kilowatt hour, and the time of this agreement is 48 months. On the opposite side, you'll see the gas, natural gas. Currently, we're paying 3.88. And their pricing for the term of 36 months is 2.87. So we have a chance to have some cost savings there. Would like to open a motion to accept the APPI Energy quotes.
I would like to motion that we accept the bids from APPI for our gas and electric.
I'll second. Drazabaugh.
Yes.
Manuska.
I have to abstain. I work for First Energy. That was the other consideration. I did recommend staying with the utility company, so there'll be a conflict of interest because I'm employed there.
Very good. Quinn votes yes. Troyani?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Huff?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Next, we have a sale of a property out of the repository list. Tax parcel 33-006-0603, decimal 000. It's 725 Ohio Avenue. And they are currently asking for forgiveness of our taxes from 2018 to current.
Albert, this is a repository property being purchased? Yeah, so they're not, this is one of those, this is sort of a formality. You would have to approve this purchase unless you had some sort of good cause not to. This is a property, the repository is something where the property has gone through several tax sales already, no one's purchased it. It sits there, anyone can go up, there's all these sorts of properties laying in there. They can go up and pay for it. It's just, unless we have some sort of good cause not to. I would recommend voting
So
to
they've
approve
got a
this.
total bid amount of $21.96.
I just want to make it clear, this isn't someone walking in on the street asking for their taxes to be exonerated.
Right. And that is just property now, I'm sorry? There's not a house on there?
There's a house on it.
Okay.
Oh, there is a
It's,
house?
across from the convent. Oh, by the church.
Okay.
It's one of the
Oh, that's right, it's one of those duplexes.
duplexes, currently owned by
Not, but that's not one of the ones your mom
Tri-State
owned, right? Or did you guys sell that?
Isn't it by Joe Noah?
Didn't your mom used to live over there?
It's right next door to Joe Noah.
Holdings.
That same block.
Yeah, same block.
I'd like to move that we waive the taxes that permit the sale.
I thought your mom lived up on Ohio Avenue.
Do I have a second? Do we have a second?
Sell the property, I'll give you a second.
Thank you. Drazabaugh.
Yes.
Manuska.
Yes.
Quinn votes yes. Troyani?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Huff?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Next, we have the issue of Joe Dietrich's sewer repair. We had 4 other repairs in the borough this last year, and for all of them, we took care of the dig. Mr. Dietrich has decided to go with, please help me out with this.
Mr. Leeport, Charles Leeport, is it Charles?
Yeah.
Charles? Or, I just know Mr. Leeport.
I feel that we need to help him, just like we help everybody else in town, with part of the dig. The cost of the largest dig we had this year was $7,060. That was one on 12th and Beaver. I would like to extend up to that amount for Mr. Dietrich's dig,
How much was it?
$7,060.
Thank you.
I'd like to put a motion on the floor to accept that.
I'll motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll say.
Drazabaugh.
Yes. Oh, wait, am I allowed to, should I vote on that? I don't know, that's my cousin. I don't know whether I should vote or not.
Cousin isn't under the Ethics Act.
Okay.
It's really your,
All right, I just wanted to make sure, then yes.
Okay. Manuska.
Yes.
I will abstain. Troyani?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Huff? Motion carries.
Heart to Heart is asking for a $100 donation for the Beaver County Cancer and Heart Association. address that.
Table that or have a motion?
I'm sorry?
On the table that or have a motion?
Let's table it. Okay.
I thought we were gonna find out.
Again, I want to announce that we do have tickets for NAACP banquet held on October 19th. Tickets are $40 per. They did call us the other day and asked if anybody from the borough was going to be attending. So please let me know as soon as you can if,
That's the same night as our wing bash, so I can't
Right.
go for the 4th of July fundraisers.
let me know as soon as you can. I've got tickets here for $40 each. And, anybody here in the audience that would like to attend, give us a call. Went over the police report already. That included the animal, code enforcement, the animal landlord tenant. We do have the zoning report from Owen Pello.
You want me to read that?
You would know more about it than I would, go ahead.
Well, they're independent. I know.
Okay.
I'm still on there
I'll
as
do
a
it.
member, but I was never a member.
Review of fowler permit.
Here, I should tell them.
I don't probably follow through. We have a application for permit to attachment deck, looks like. They may need a variance. Email discussion for potential Lincoln Park building. And I'm gonna guess that that's the old Monac garage. Waiting to hear from them on finalization of purchase. Research into PA municipalities planning code. Hearing in regards to the First Baptist Church. They're sorting it out with multiple phone calls and emails. We discussed a planning commission meeting. That's not. Planning commission meeting of 9/11, Valmont Wadco discussion for First Baptist Church. We discussed that last week.
Yeah, they are in default. They had 45 days to answer the church's application, and it's deemed waived. So, you know,
Church.
working it out, it's already been determined.
Okay, so the church is
It's
able
now coming to planning. They've been invited to submit their plans as soon as possible. They have 10 days to tell us what their intentions are. The last meeting, they had it's already 6 days into the 10-day. Pete, I have a question for you. They gave us de facto notice that they intended to go ahead and build, but they never submitted anything in writing. They had a 10-day window. Can we assume that we've gotten notice that they intend to continue? I don't understand why there's a 10-day window after the default of the zoning for the church to tell us whether or not they're going to.
Probably to appeal it, my guess, to, my guess would be that's an appeal period for, to appeal any issues related to that default. If there's no intent to.
They said they were going to submit a letter, but they never did.
Yeah, if there's not going to be any appeal by this, I don't think there's an issue with letting them just proceed. So I think they have the necessary de facto approvals, right?
Right.
So I don't think there's any issue. I would ask for something in writing, just to, at some point, just to paper it, but.
Okay. Thank you.
Just review of Valmont plans, which we discussed earlier, planning commission report. Put together sample subdivision, land development application for future projects. Filing a resident notification list for car wash variance hearing. Will be mailed once notice is drafted by the attorney. Hearing is set for November 13th. And again, they discussed the cell tower, conduit, fiber optic cable, and the various applications for the car wash.
Just FYI, the car wash is a non-conforming structure now. Now they want to make more changes to it, so they have to go through zoning before it comes to planning.
Next, we're going to go on the financials. We need to approve the bills as of October 10th. So we'll type on the agenda there. And the bill list up to today, $40,693.58. That does include our insurance for our employees for November.
I'll move to approve the bills.
Second.
Drozba,
Yes.
Middleston.
Yes.
Quinn votes yes. Troyani,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Tuck.
Yes.
It's unanimous. Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda, hiring a part-time borough clerk for the main office. I had gone to the personnel committee and advised them that I had somebody that would be interested in working at the borough on a daily basis. She's a local Midland girl. Her name is
Beatrice Simmons.
Beatrice Simmons. She has worked in office settings prior to in her prior employment. I did discuss it with Bea a little bit, and she would be willing to come down and talk to personnel. She'd be willing to take the job we were talking about, possible making the borough hours 9 to 3, Monday through Thursday. Of course, the clerk position would be at $12 an hour. She would be willing to come down and talk to the personnel committee. You guys want to meet with her? She can start as early as next week.
It's a temporary position.
Temporary
I just want to
or
make
time
that
position?
known. It's a temporary position to get somebody in that
We're in
office
dire straits here, folks.
to accommodate our citizens of this town and filter calls and whatever else needs to be done
Absolutely.
at this point.
I think there's a lot of people who would want that job. Did you consider like making it public?
At this time, we are in such dire straits.
That you
I didn't know that we can, again, that's why we're here, to discuss the options.
Oh, well, there's another person who would like it. She lives within walking distance. She's got a lot of experience, and I think you ought to consider her too.
Okay. We need to open it up to personnel to have some folks know. We need to do this very quickly, though. It's got to be moved. I mean, nobody's running the store here.
I agree.
And it's our duty to make sure that it runs at least half properly so that we can build.
So how about inviting applicants? You know, do you know anybody? Like, send a resume. Thank you.
I thought it had to be advertised.
Not for a temporary position. This is temporary we get somebody in there from
Need somebody to answer the phones and greet the people.
Yeah, this is just to fill position of
What do you mean
answering
by
phones at
temporary?
this
Is that
point.
benefits? Is that vacation?
Temporary.
Part-time.
Temporary,
Less than 32 hours a week?
yes.
I just want to make sure we get a pool of qualified applicants, that we're not just
Okay,
getting the first
that-
person.
That's fine, but that will also take time. And I'm not sure we have time.
Well, how long have
because
we been without a secretary here? It's been a while.
Since the mayor stopped coming down.
Yes. Well, actually, we kind
It's been-
of needed someone before that.
Absolutely.
Right, but we didn't do it.
4 weeks.
Wasn't brought up.
3 weeks,
Yeah. I just
3
don't want
weeks.
to be hiring someone's friend,
no,
you know? I don't think that's fair.
we're
It's
not.
not a friend, it's just somebody that I know in
Right.
town,
Oh,
and
there
she's
you go.
from town.
You
You
know?
need somebody that's qualified.
I'm sure there's a lot of
Let's do
qualified
this
people in this
then.
town.
Let's do this then. Let's get a pool of people together and let's plan a meeting for the beginning of next week.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Wednesday night, You want to have a meeting?
6 o'clock, we have
Facebook,
our committee meetings.
Committee meetings next Wednesday. Anybody want to bring anybody to an applicant? Bring them forward, please.
Understood. Great, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. And again, we talked about the prayer chain, Ivy Roach. I will contact her and let her know that it's on and what we can do for her as far as police protection. I will further discuss with her the possibility of some of her folks that are in the prayer chain standing on corners to make sure that there's not a problem. So I'll go ahead and take care of that. Anybody else have any miscellaneous business tonight?
I have a couple things. One, I publicly want to, for the record, I want to thank Michael Noda for his time here with the council.
Absolutely.
He's a fantastic member of our community. I've known him a long time in employment. I want to thank him, and he's done an outstanding job, and I understand the reasons he has. But thank you to him. I also want to bring up, and we've talked about it, the mayor's going to talk to him about it, Mrs. Hupp, about having a no parking sign that we used to be there up across from the Polish Club. On private driveways, it had deteriorated, fell down. Their driveway is constantly getting blocked, so we're looking into.
Dan, excuse me, is that the Merck family?
Yes, it is, I'm sorry, yes. Chris Mark is the
I got it.
husband, and we can put one back up there and help them out with their time. Second is I also want to, and I know we're looking for a secretary. I think we need to definitely, again, put it on record, on notes, and thank Mayor Atkins for all the work she did down here at this borough, because I'm going to tell you, she spent a lot of time, and she needs
Yes,
to.
she did.
Thank
Yes, she did.
That's it.
Thank you.
Have anything else?
Nothing else?
Anything else? Anybody else have anything else?
The officer's coming down.
Oh.
I asked Dan, he's working Highville, so he's gonna come down to meet you
Right now.
in a little bit.
Over. Okay.
And we have another public comment.
That light pole that you, with the banner last week, the banner that was across the street here,
Mhm.
Yes.
when the banner was waving, it unplugged the light.
I thought you came, I was called.
The light's still out.
Your
Lights
tail light's
still out.
called, so when they
They were
get
called,
here,
that
they're
night.
all notified.
Because I
They were called that night for the.
I was told that, yeah, they were notified and they're gonna come down and inspect the pole or fix the light, is what I was told.
Yeah, because when the banner was waving, it unplugged it.
Mhm.
No, it's still out. Yeah.
Okay.
Emily, I need to talk to
I'm going to put a motion to adjourn on the floor, please.
you. Motion,
Second. Strasbourg.
I say yes.
Nuska. Quinn votes yes. Troyani.
Yes.
Williams.
You just do it by acclamation, right?
All right.
I had claimed